My name's Gealy. I'm from the Rhondda Valleys in a small town called Trehafod. So in regards to the flood come in on Sunday. As you can probably see from my surroundings, it's completely ruined everything downstairs, ripped our life apart. We've lost everything. We don't even have a front room, it's all outside on the front street. Yeah, so in the minute we're meant to be in the living room. The flood took away our settee, it's took away everything, basically everything in the living room. We're currently living on 4 garden chairs pretty much. We have no TV. You can see like on the wallpaper, the mould already starting to come, and we've, like I've said again, no advice. We're living in mouldy conditions. But yeah, it's concrete floor, 4 chairs, and the telly doesn't even work. That's what I'm left with for Christmas, and that's something that we're going to have to just bear with as a family at the moment, of living in a building site by the looks of it, with mould and all bits of gravel that's come up as well. It is, to be honest, I think I'd rather be homeless and live in this sort of conditions. So the first flood was in 2020, the same again as it happened here. So it took all out downstairs and it affected everyone in the community. We all had to fight for a community to get money together in order to help those in need. We had to cook meals for other members of the community as well. The council come out and installed a water pump on that instance. So what we thought that would happen, it would never happen again. Then 4 years later, we've had another flood now, Storm Bert, and it's pretty much the same. They installed anti-defence systems, which are the pumps that I mentioned, and they haven't been used correctly. So they were used while the houses were flooded. They should be used when the first reported bit of water is storing up to stop the houses from flooding. The council's completely let us down, and as a community we've had to come together again. Like my mother's completely distraught. She's devastated because from the last storm it took 2 years to get our house back to how she wanted it, and she liked coming home, and now as soon as that's been built up again, it's been ripped apart again, and I do blame the council for it. With the flood, I first come to the house at 10:30. I come to the top of the street, and me and another one of the members of the street called Jamie Newman, he got his work boys together. We had to dig up the drains that were blocked, and that released all the water. We had to rip out everyone's living room, ripped it all out and took it away. And yeah, so it was left to all us as a community. Like, the council haven't been seen. It was reported to them on Sunday at 12 o'clock, and they still haven't been seen. They haven't come out at all. We've had to monitor the drains. We've had to dig out all the mud that's come in. I've had to clean my house, and other members of the community had to clean their house. We've even had a member of the community up the street that's made our family a cooked dinner because we can't eat here. We have managed to clean out the water, but it's still drainage water. It's dirty water. You can't be eating or living in these sort of conditions. And again, like I've already said to you, like, the council are nowhere to be seen. I've rung them 3 times reporting what's happened. We need humidifiers. We need stuff to actually help us, and I've been told we need to wait. Bearing in mind, I've rung an emergency council number, which was put out by Chris Bryant, and I've been told we need to wait. It can't be that much of an emergency if they still haven't been out at more than a day later. So the water, when it first came in, it just burst through the doors, and before you know it, it was up to there in no time at all. You can see from like the marks where it's come up to. So it's gone past all the sockets and everything like that. We ain't electricians. We don't even know if the electric should be on. We haven't been told anything. So all we know, we could put a plug in one of the plugs, and we could have an electric shock, and that goes down to, again, that we've had no advice. We have no idea what to do. I'm literally surviving off instinct at the moment on how to survive in this sort of situation. The stuff in the house that we had to rip out carpets, wood floor. We had to rip out a new settee that I haven't even sat on yet, because I've been well, I haven't been here and I haven't even sat on that yet. We've lost countless bits of food, trimmings for Christmas. We've lost chairs, we've lost photos, we've lost stuff that actually matter. With the sofas and that sort of thing, that can be easily replaced, but we have lost some important things to us, like photos of me graduating from university. We've also lost, so my mother's on medication for her mental health. We've lost all her medication. So it's just been completely ruined. Our life has been like pulled from underneath us. It's unbelievable. And it's come to the point now where the council still haven't been out. I've had to leave my job where I work in order to put my house back right so we can have a nice Christmas here, and I've got 4 weeks to do it. And I'm a 23-year-old boy, like I feel like I shouldn't need this stress, especially so close to Christmas. From the last flood, so this was the one in 2020, we were made to live in the same conditions you can see now, dirty water, dirty sewage water. From that, my mother had to go to the hospital because she had bad pneumonia, and she still hasn't recovered from it. She still has a chesty cough now, to the point where she sometimes can't even breathe or get her words out, and that's affected us from 4 years ago. And now to be back at square one again, it's very worrying for not just my mother's health, but everyone else in the street as well. So all the washing you can see here is washing that is dirty. In the floods, we only have one washing machine and one tumble dryer. Obviously none of these work anymore. So now we are left with a massive pile of clothes that are still wet from river sewage that we can't wash and we can't dry. So the clothes I have on now are clothes I've been wearing for like the last 2 days, because we can't wash or dry any clothes, and like I said, the council haven't even give us anything to go off. The forecast that we've been looking at, there's so much more rain to come. I was looking at the drain that's actually been flooded. It's filling back up. I've reported this to the council, nothing. I can't get started on trying to sort out this house because we're expecting more floods. We've got stuff on tables here, we've got food up on kitchen counters. It's unbelievable, and yet we haven't had any warnings from the water board, nothing from the council. We're sort of just forgotten about, and that's the thing that's sort of getting to me a lot. That as families are forgotten about and left to fend for ourselves. There should be procedures for things like this and some advice. That's all we want as a community, is advice on what to do. In the first flooding in 2020, we were given these floodgates, which we're told would work. The house is up the top of the street, all were given sandbags. When I come to the house, I was told that we wasn't given any sandbags, and same for the rest of the about 6 houses that got flooded. We were left with no sandbags. So the water just come over the floodgates, so they pretty much useless, if I do say so myself. And then for sandbags, I had to ring the council and ask them for sandbags. They didn't even give us any. I was told that we're going to have to wait again. And then a member of the community recently passed away up the street, so we've had to take sandbags from her door to put by ours, just to make sure that there's no water getting in our house. Because of the flooding and we've been made to live in this house, we've got 2 dogs. I've got a sister who's autistic. My mother lives here and my brother, and we're all squeezed upstairs. All the stuff downstairs is upstairs. It's unbearable trying to live in these sort of conditions. I usually live at my girlfriend's, but because there is no help being given, I feel like I need to stay in the property just to have some reassurance for not just my mother, my sister and all my family. And the same as the wider community as well. They've moved everything upstairs. I went in someone's house, his name's Brian, who lives up the road. His whole downstairs is upstairs. So these sort of conditions, the smell, the way, just the way it is, it's disgusting, and I can't imagine anyone else living in this sort of situation. Just before about the flood, my mother already had Christmas to worry about. She already had paying for gas to worry about. She's also then had to worry about paying for electric, which is obviously all comes into the cost of living. So that was a massive stress in itself. The community is a working class community. We don't have the most money in the world to be sorting this sort of thing out. And then now with the flood on top of it, it's just, I think it's coming to breaking point, and someone needs to do something, because us as a community are just crying out for someone to help us, and I think that we are forgotten about, and it just needs to be sorted.